Hello, this is Candy with eyes2jesus.blogspot.com and welcome to my monthly planner tour of my current planner setup. I am still in personal size and I am still using my planner as my wallet. It's still got my everything, my wallet, my home management binder, my notebook, budgeting, planner, etc. And I am still in a personal size Filofax Malden, but I am currently in the Pear. This is called the Pear Colored Personal Size Filofax Malden, and I love this color. I just, I don't know, it's got a vintagey feel to it with this color to me. It reminds me of some of the really nice vintage Daytimers and Franklin Coveys. The color also reminds me of my early childhood. But yeah, I like this color because it's not a flashy, showy color like the Kingfisher blue, but it's not as muted color like the fuchsia or the ochre. And it's not as common of a planner color. So it's a nice color, but it's not super flashy, but it's not muted, and it's not a very common planner color. So I'm finding I'm really liking this one. And this is the color Pear. Alright, so going inside, on the front here, just using it as my wallet, the same as you've been seeing in my previous tours. In the zipper pocket I keep change. In this pocket I keep some spending cash. The slots have my main cards, and one of the slots, this slot, has Avery dots, Avery labels, and hole reinforcement stickers. And then sticking out of this side pocket here, I have some sticky notes and my washi card. And then back inside the side pocket, I have extra filler paper. Alright, and then my welcome page or dashboard is this. And this is trimmed down from a mini Happy Planner cover. And it says, "You are exactly where you need to be today." And that's a fabulous reminder, especially when I have days where it's hectic and busy and I can't be on my schedule and I have to be on an alternate schedule. That's just a handy little reminder. It's cute. It's inspirational. Okay, and on the other side of that, I have some sticky notes with a little note to myself. This is a running to-do list of things that need eventually to get done, but there's no time limit on it. It's just a, hey, let's do this at some point. And then on the other side from that is a picture of my husband and I from our wedding. We got married in 1997. And on the other side of that is our current family picture. We try to do a family picture every year, usually around Thanksgiving or New Year's. And then after that I have several sheets of paper clipped together with a magnetic bookmark. And this is where I keep my running grocery list. So moving past those, I finally have different dividers in here than I've had all year. There's some, and I've had this for a while. I think I got it from Joann's, but it might have been Hobby Lobby in the Tim Holtz section. They were selling a stack of wallpaper for crafting, little squares of wallpaper for crafting. And so I picked that up and I've had it for months, and I just figured with this kind of vintagey color that it would be kind of cool to have dividers that was made out of that wallpaper, because it's kind of a nice vintagey wallpaper. Now, when I laminated the wallpaper, if I made my dividers double-sided, then it was just too thick for these rings, because I have this planner absolutely stuffed. So I have it laminated one side, and they're one-sided dividers, which is kind of cool because I have the laminated side, and in the back of the divider I can feel the wallpaper texture, and I like the wallpaper texture. So I have all new dividers in here that I made, and these dividers are made from wallpaper. So my first divider is labeled Home because it's the divider to my homemaking section. And that's the laminated wallpaper for that divider. And you see I have two small binder clips on here, and I just have my 4-color pen just clipped right into those. And that's my secondary pen. I rarely ever use it, but if I do need to emphasize something, so make something in a different color or put a box around something in a different color, I have it for that. Also, I have a nice, this is also a nice thin ballpoint pen where I can use the blue or black ink if I need to write a check. Alright, so going inside of my homemaking section, my first page is a page of my daily chores. And it's mostly my daily cleaning chores, but some days contain things that, in addition to cleaning, like budgeting, paying bills, making a menu plan, getting groceries, etc. All right, and then on the other side of that page is my children's cleaning chores, and then over here is my children's table chores. And then we have my projects page. These are my deep cleaning and organization projects. And then I have my master grocery list, and I have a little top tab I adhered with washi tape on the top of that, because right after that page is my menu for the week. So if I want to turn just to my menu, I just need to pop over into my home section, grab that top tab, flip the page over, and we have my menu for the week. And I plan out our full breakfast, lunches, suppers, and sides for each day of the week. All right, and then after that, I have sections of breakfast ideas, lunch ideas, and supper ideas, and these also contain suggested sides, and I use those pages to help me in making my menu plan each week, or if I need to change a meal or a whole day of eating or whatnot. So this is one of the pages for my breakfast ideas. Then we got lunch ideas. Then a couple pages here of supper ideas. Yeah, and that just helps me when I set up my menu. And sometimes I might put stuff in my menu that's not on those ideas. I look to those for ideas. Okay, after that I just have a page of written down Thanksgiving menu, and on the other side is New Year's menu. And then after that I have a page, and I adhered this little arrow to it as a little side tab, and this is a table of contents to my recipes section. So after this page is my recipes, and my recipes are page numbered and they're divided into sections. So then this is my table of contents to the different sections, but not to each individual recipe. That would be insane. And I have this little side tab here so that if I'm getting ready to cook something like a supper from one of my recipes, then I can just flip open my home section and then flip to this little pink side tab that I have sticking out. And just to show you a sample of what my recipes pages look like, they're just basic type. And that's the rest of my homemaking section. So my next divider, which is laminated wallpaper, is labeled school, because that's my homeschool section. So here's that divider. And I am a homeschooling mother of 4. My oldest child is an adult and was homeschooled all the way through. And then my 3 children that are still doing homeschool are doing grades 12, 10, and 8. So yeah, I mean next year I'm only going to be homeschooling 2, so that's getting pretty wild. So this is my homeschool section. So the first page of my homeschool section is our homeschool schedule. And then after that, I have 3 pages of a chart. It's our curriculum chart, or the homeschool course of study. And then we have a list of the current copywork assignments, and this goes on for a few pages. And then I have a list of their reading lists. And those are actually reading lists that take them through the rest of their schooling. And then I did have one child, it's actually my oldest, who he would actually read through all of his reading lists on some years. And that's not a problem too, because I can always come up with more books to add. Alright, and then after that I just have pages of my version of, I guess, what you can call lesson planning. So they just look like that. And then after that, after those, I just have some blank note paper in case I need to put down any notes. So that brings us to the next section, which is labeled budget, and it is my budgeting section. And here's a laminated wallpaper divider for that. And you see I have a little magnetic bookmark right there. That's because sometimes I have to clip pages together in here, or I might need to clip a receipt to a page until I can address it later, etc. So the first page in my budget section I'm not going to show you as it's personal, but it's my budget guide, and it lists reoccurring bills and expenses and which paycheck during the month those bills or expenses fall on. So I use that as my budget guide. And after that, I just have filler paper, no forms or fancy printouts. I write the date of the check at the top of the paper. I list down the current expenses for that check from my budget guide. Then I look at my monthly view calendar in the planner section towards the back, and I look at what's coming up during the time of that paycheck that we need to pay for, extra expenses, appointments, birthday parties, holidays, special things, etc. And then I put those on there too. And then I calculate everything up, and then I see this is how much money we need to use from the check for expenses, this is how much that we have for savings, etc. And then I regularly will check our online banking statement to make sure things are clearing as they should be, and I keep a true running total on the filler paper of how much money we actually have. So there are a few things that I do actually pay in checks, so those can take a few days or even up to a week for them to get cashed. That's okay because I have my true running total here. So my husband knows if he wants to know how much we actually have in the bank to check my budget section. It's more up to date and accurate than the online banking statement. So moving to my next homemade divider made from wallpaper is my notes section. It's my full notebook. So I have it labeled notes. Alright, and then I have this divided into subsections. So the first section in notes goes up to a little polka dot top tab that I have at the top, and the pages up to that top tab are numbered, and so the first page of notes is my table of contents. And on those numbered pages we have gift ideas, kids grocery week checklist, stock list, perpetual calendar, family information, codes, and tracking. And then I have another little top tab in the middle of this that goes to a few pages that I access quite regularly, such as my codes and tracking and family information. Alright, and then moving to that top tab here at the top where the numbered pages end, that brings you to my next subsection. And this is actually to my directory. So the first page in here is actually a little hand-drawn map, but in my brain's language, and laminated of the area in which I live, and it helps me keep my directions straight, and not the street straight and everything. And then after that, I just have some written directions to places that I may go to here and there, but not necessarily regularly enough to remember it. And then after those pages of directions, I have contacts. I have phone numbers and addresses of family members and close friends. So, and then after that, there is a little red tab sticking to the side for my third subsection in my notebook. So if I flip to that little red tab, it brings me to my brain dump. So I regularly go through the brain dump. Any information that's super pertinent or long-lasting, I may end up moving to a relevant section in here. Some information I needed for a while, it's been assimilated or completed, and I can remove or whatever. So, and then at the back of my notebook section, I just have some various sheets of various different types of filler paper. So this is for if I need more paper for a brain dump, or if I need more paper for my grocery section or my budget section or my homeschool section, etc., I can grab some from here. And when I get low on the paper from here, then I have filler paper inside the front pocket that I can grab and pop some more in here, and then wherever else I need it in my planner. So moving to my last homemade divider, it's labeled planning. And here's what that wallpaper divider looks like. Okay, so the first page inside planning is actually a Franklin Covey Blooms title page or front page, and it's blank. And I keep it in here because on the other side it has years at a glance for 2019 and 2020. And then the month on, I've been using month on 2 pages in here for my monthlies, and I've been using the same ones all year. And I've been using the Garden Path ones by Daytimer in their portable size. Daytimer portable size is the exact same size as Filofax personal size. And I have the whole year of month on 2 pages in here for 2019. So this is September, so I flip to my September divider, and here's what my September divider looks like. I have some stuff written there. Okay, and then my September month on 2 pages looks like this. Alright, and then let's flip to my today bookmarker to where I am today. Now, I use day on 2 pages for my daily planning, and I use Franklin Covey Bloom's day on 2 pages in the Franklin Covey compact size. Franklin Covey compact size will fit in here, the holes and rings line up, but it is wider. It's not as wide as Personal Wide, but it is wider than Recollections and Agenda 52. So you may not want to use the pen loop if you don't trim the pages down. Some people doing it doesn't bug them, other people it bugs them, so they will clip their pen on the end of the pocket in the back here instead, or just clip it on the outside of the pen loop. But what I have been doing is I've been just trimming the pages more narrow and repunching them and putting them back in, which has caused 0 problems. So I'm trying to determine for my 2020 planner. So far pretty sure I want to continue with Franklin Covey, so I need to decide if I want to convert everything to Franklin Covey size or if I want to keep trimming things down. Since I am massively loving my Filofax Maldens in the personal size, if I decide to stay in this, then I will need to continue trimming down my Franklin Coveys because that's my preference. And what I do is I just trim them a bit more narrow so that they're the exact same page size as Filofax Personal or Daytime Portable, and then I just repunch them. And I only keep 1 month's worth of day on 2 pages at a time in here. So like a few days ago, like 3 or 4 days ago was like the last day of August. So on that last day, when I was relaxing in the evening, I just grabbed my scissors, my Crop-A-Dile hole punch, a couple of binder clips, and then a piece of paper from my planner to use as a template. And I just used it to mark where the pages need to be trimmed, and then I just trimmed them with the scissors and punched them. And I take the month worth of pages on day on 2 pages that I want to trim, and I divide them into 3 piles. And then I can do, that way I only have to do it 3 times. So for example, I'll take my first pile, make sure the pages are stacked together evenly. I use 2 binder clips to hold them stacked together so that they don't get messed up. And then I just mark where I'm going to cut it more narrow, mark where I'm going to repunch it, and then I punch it with Crop-A-Dile hole punch, because Crop-A-Dile hole punches can go through a lot of paper with hardly any effort. So it's much easier than your regular cheap hole punch where you'd probably get a sore hand and have to push really hard. So I only have to do that 3 times. And I do it while usually sitting in my recliner and relaxing in the evening on about the last day of the month for the next month. Really easy. So that's what I've been doing. And like I said, I only keep 1 month at a time in here on day on 2 pages, but I keep the whole year in here of month on 2 pages. So moving, well, let me show you the day on 2 pages really quick. Here is today. And then here's my page finder. It's just a page finder I got off of Amazon. There is no brand name on it, but I like it because it's clear and it has inches and centimeters on it, and it's narrow. It's not really wide, and it sticks up at the top but not at the bottom. And I like that. And then after that I have my laminated routines and schedules page, and it's double-sided. And the holes are slit in this, so I can just pop this in and out of the rings along with my page finder. And I just have a little tab on the top that I made because it makes it easier to turn it fast. And I flip to the other side. Here's the other side of my routines page, my master routines page. And then here is the second page for my day on 2 pages. So let me flip ahead a little bit. Here we go to some blank Bloom's day on 2 pages by Franklin Covey, and you can see what they look like. Alright, now moving past all my planning pages, we come to some graph paper, filter paper that is a Filofax graph paper, and I have written on the top Future Planning 2020 Plus, and that's where I write down future planning for the year 2020 and beyond. And I already have several things written on that, so I'm not going to show that page to you. But flipping past that, after that, we come to a sheet of the wallpaper, and this is not laminated. And I have 2 sheets of that wallpaper, here and here. And in between these 2 sheets are just some top-loading pockets where I keep my cash envelopes. So, after that, I have a page lifter, and on the page lifter I also just keep some reoccurring labels and extra labels or little stickies that I can use as additional tabs or sub-tabs when needed. And then we come to the very back. So, in the pocket slit, this is an Agenda 52 notepad from Hobby Lobby. And this pen is my typical favorite pen. It's the V5 Precise by Pilot, and I like it in the black, and I prefer it in the .5, and that's what this is. And then in this back slit pocket, I just keep some papers that I like to keep in my planner. Sometimes I keep receipts in here that need to be held on to temporarily before I handle them. I also keep bills in here. That's what's poking out, is I keep bills in here that are waiting to be paid. And behind all of that is my checkbook. So I have my pen. I prefer to write checks with this pen rather than this pen. I think it just looks better. And so that's another reason why I have this pen in here, is for when I need to write checks. And that is my whole planner setup. There is a lot in here. It is pretty stuffed, but it is working out really good for me. And yeah, if you're not familiar, the Filofax Malden, the ring diameter is 7/8 of an inch, which is the one and only reason why I've considered moving into a different planner. I do have a compact size Franklin Covey Marbella in the color cream, and I upgraded that to 1.5" rings, and the pocket configuration in that is conducive for my setup that I have and how I use a planner. So I'm considering that. I go back and forth on it, but the Marbella by Franklin Covey is even floppier than the Daytimer Malibu, which they're no longer making, and is even floppier than your Filofax Malden. And I love floppy planners, but if I'm going to be using it as a wallet, this one is just good enough where I can open it and work with it in my hands in case, you know, if I'm paying and there's no table to set it down on. The Marbella is so floppy that it just completely flops over, so I'd have to come up with a system if I'm going to use that and use it as a wallet. But I am loving the personal size Filofax Malden in the color pear. And that's my planner tour. Have a blessed day.